Kaitlynn and Isaac are going to be playing the roles of, for Kaitlynn, Brandy Carlson, a retail associate at a storefront location, and Isaac will be playing the role of Elton David, a product manager at a corporate office. And both of my colleagues here are playing personas that work at a company called Aperture, a company that we have made up for the exact purpose of this demo. And Aperture is playing the role really of a global retail, multifaceted organization here today. So without further ado, I'd love to toss it over to the persona of Brandy Carlson, represented by my colleague, Kaitlynn.
Thank you so much, Annie. Yes, my name is Kaitlynn, but for the purposes of this demo, I will be playing Brandy. I'm a frontline worker in one of Aperture's retail locations based out of Seattle. Now, I need to access things on my phone because, right, I'm a retail worker, I'm on the go, I'm working on my feet. So everything needs to be readily available in my mobile device. Aperture uses Teams for both corporate and retail workers, and because of Viva's integration into Teams, that means that I can access all of those important tools and resources right on my phone. So first things first, I arrive at work, but before I get started, I need to clock in. So I can open my phone and open the Teams app right from my phone, which is going to take me to the Viva Connections dashboard. Now, in the mobile experience of Viva Connections, you are taken straight to the dashboard, which has all of those critical actions and tools that you need right front and center. So in these cards, I have a few different actions I can take, and I can see from my shifts that I can clock in. So all I've got to do is clock in to start my shift. I can also see the details button in case there's any more information about my shift, like if my supervisor has left me any notes. I can swap the shift for later. I can look and see if maybe I'm working with anyone. I'm flying solo today, so it's going to be a pretty busy day. Right, but I know it's going to be a great day because it's payday. And what's the first thing we do on payday? We check out our pay stubs. So I can go straight into this dashboard and I can see my pay stub right there. It's going to show me on the card the pay period, so I know, but all I have to do is click into view last pay slip, and it's going to bring me into this high-level breakdown of my pay, which means that I'm not going out into another app. I'm not going into my browser for my desktop computer back at home and eventually forgetting that I need to go do that. It's right here available for me. But I've checked my pay stub, and now it's time to start my day. The Aperture team likes to use our team to do tasks. So my supervisor goes into our team, assigns tasks for all of our workers, and then I can access those assigned tasks again from this dashboard. I see that I have a few assigned tasks to me, so all I have to do, again, click right into that card and I'll see this list. Right, so I have to update the phone display. I've got some inventory, some sales. That sounds boring and it's due tomorrow, so that's a tomorrow job. But I really like updating phone displays. So I can look into any more of this information simply by clicking on the task itself. Now, when I click on the task itself, it is going to show me a little bit more information. Sometimes my supervisor might put an attachment, might put something else in there. All I want to do, though, today is just mark that I've got it in progress so that he knows I've started it. Right, so it's marked in progress. I get about my day, and now it's time for lunch. And what do I like to do over lunch? I like to check up on important organizational news, like everyone. So I go into Teams, and instead of going back into this dashboard, I can hop right over to the feed, which is going to be that collection of corporate communications news. It's going to bring together some Viva Engage posts, and all I've got to do is scroll through to see sort of each individual post, which is really easy. I can also click new posts just in case maybe since the last time I've logged in that there's something new for me to see, making sure that I haven't missed anything. But actually seeing some Viva Engage posts sparks an idea that I want to take a photo of the display that I made earlier today. It's super cool. I want to put it in a community. So all I've got to do is navigate to Viva Engage right at the bottom of my Teams rail, and I'm going to be taken into that home feed, which is super similar to Connections. It's just going to bring me sort of aggregated posts from across the communities I'm in. But I want to go to a specific community called Mobile Connect, which brings together retail workers from across the country, as well as some of those retail-facing corporate employees. And I can get to my communities by clicking the little 3 people icon up top. That's going to take me to these tiles, and I can click right into Mobile Connect, right in the center there, and that will take me straight into the community that I'm a part of. I can, again, scroll through and see the posts, but today I just want to start a new discussion, and I can click Share Thoughts, Ideas, or Updates. I'll stick with the discussion today. I can change it to something like a question if I need it answered, or a poll, which I've done in the past, sort of different ways to interact with colleagues. But today I just want to talk about how great I am. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the display I made. But I also want to tag a colleague who works at the corporate headquarters, comes up with amazing ideas for all of us. So I wanted to know I was inspired by him. And then he'll get a notification that he was tagged. I'll go in, I'll upload a photo of this, and then I'm going to go ahead and post it. And what's great is now my colleagues can interact with it. And then when they get on their phone and they look through their feeds on Connections and Engage, this is going to pop up in the same way that their posts popped up for me. Right, but lunchtime is over. It's time to get back into the swing of the day. But what I get to do every afternoon, because I'm working toward a promotion to assistant store manager, is do a bit of professional development. And that is powered by Viva Learning. So all I've got to do to get to Viva Learning is, you guessed it, I'm going to pull up Teams on my phone and I'm going to go straight into that dashboard. And I can see that I've got a card on there that takes me straight into the Viva Learning module right from this one app. And I can go to my learning right at the top tab, and that's going to take me to bookmark courses. Now, okay, I see I've got communicating with charisma today. It's only 22 minutes long. If I had a little bit more time this afternoon, maybe I could go back to my store's team, where my supervisor will sometimes send links to certain courses that are really nice, or if it's really important for everyone, he'll make it a tab at the top of the channel, so it's super easy for me to bookmark later. But as we all know, I'm working by myself today. I'm busy, so I'm going to finish up this course. I'm going to maybe check out some other bookmark courses later. I'm going to head about my day. And then this afternoon, I had a bit of a challenge, super complicated customer complaint. And because I was by myself, I had to reach out to my supervisor, and he dropped everything. He was super helpful. The customer was so happy. And I want to give him a shout out to know I appreciated it. So I can scroll on down and I see that I've got this praise option, which is powered by Viva Insights. So all I've got to do is click the send praise button, and it's going to take me to the easiest user interface ever. All I've got to do is search for his name, and then I can look and sort of change the card how I need it to. I'm going to pick a title that resonates, so I want to make sure I'm saying thank you. I'm going to add a personal note to him to explain specifically why I'm shooting him this praise. And then I can adjust some other features in here, like if I look at the background colors, his favorite color is green, so I'm going to pick something green for him. And then I'm going to preview it, no typos, and I'm going to send it, and it's going to go straight to his Teams chat, which is great because he's going to get that notification on his computer. He's going to get this card that says he's been praised. And I know that for me, whenever I receive praise from colleagues, it's like the best part of my day. I feel really connected to people, so I like to pay it forward. But it has been a long day, full of stuff today. I'm ready to go home, but first I need to clock out. So I'm hopping back into Teams, and now I can see clock out as an option on my shifts. I've clocked out, and that's the end of my day. And that was just a little sort of preview of what's possible for me as a frontline worker through Teams. You know, because all of those Viva modules are brought into the mobile experience, I can really get access to all of that. And so not only am I working for Aperture, I can grow professionally, and most importantly, I can feel like I'm part of Aperture as a whole. But that was me for the frontline. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague who's going to talk about how you do it in the corporate office. Take it away.
Thank you, Kaitlynn. So now let's take a look at what Viva looks like when you are, sadly or not, desktop bound at your desk. And to do that, we'll dive in to Elton's experience, our product manager based in Chicago. And so let's say Elton gets into work around 9 a.m. And when he does, he fires up Teams, and the first thing that comes up is Viva Connections. This is where he likes to start his day, and we'll get there in just a moment. But before, Elton knows that today, sadly, there are a lot of meetings. And as with Brandy before, busyness is going to be a running theme through this. So he wants to make sure he's setting aside enough time to be productive in his work. And to do that, he hops over into Viva Insights. When he opens up Viva Insights, he's taken to this home screen, kind of his action dashboard for well-being and productivity that pulls in all of this information from different parts of your working experience, or different parts to help you manage your working experience. And we see those in the tabs on the left with well-being, productivity, and teamwork. To book time, he hops over into the well-being tab and scrolls down to this section act with intention. And Viva Insights has pulled different availabilities from his calendar that he can book all from right here, so that when anyone tries, and they will try, to schedule a meeting over it, they'll see that he's busy. We'll go ahead and book for that 9:30 slot. And we'll click out of this for now. The other thing he wants to do while he's here is to set quiet time. Because it's been so busy at Aperture, and because Elton has Teams on his phone, which is great, he's getting mobile notifications all of the time, including after hours. He doesn't like it, and more importantly, his spouse doesn't like it either. So he's going to set time when he goes on automatically do not disturb, really creating firmer boundaries between work. To do that, he goes up to this quiet time action card that Viva Insights is showing him, and he hits set quiet time. When he does, he's brought into this screen where he can pick which days he'd like to set quiet time for. We'll do Monday through Friday, and then what times he wants that do not disturb setting to be flicked on. So he's going to set it for 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. You'll also see that he can mute those notifications for the entire day, which he'll do for Sunday and Saturday. When he's done, he'll select Save Changes, and then he's good to go. Before we get back to Viva Connections and some of his daily work, there's one more thing that Elton wants to do in Viva Insights to really help make sure he's setting up his day well. He wants to make sure he didn't miss anything from yesterday. To do that, he'll scroll down in the Productivity tab to the section Suggested Tasks. Now, Suggested Tasks looks at his frequent collaborators and looks at emails or meeting invites from them and sees whether or not he's missed anything, whether it's an ask in an email or a meeting invite. We see, for example, that Elton hasn't responded yet to a meeting invite from one of his colleagues, Dave. Viva Insights shows that to him, and Elton can RSVP to the meeting from here. Now that he feels like he's getting off on the right foot for his day, he hops back into Viva Connections. And this is the same app that Brandy spent so much time in earlier on their phone. But you'll notice that the experience on the desktop is a little bit different. So with Viva Connections, you can see that it really is pulling in the front page of your SharePoint intranet into Teams, making all of those resources accessible. But even though it looks a little different, the same features that Brandy was showing off before are available in the desktop experience. So you can see we have those dashboard cards, and then we also have the Viva feed. We'll scroll up to the dashboard cards, and you'll notice that there are a few different ones than what we saw with Brandy. So for example, Elton doesn't have shifts, and he does have this ServiceNow ticket. With Viva the Connections dashboard, you're able to audience target those cards to make sure that the right tools are being surfaced to the right employee populations. So for example, Elton needed to submit a ticket for his desktop via ServiceNow yesterday. He could do that by hopping into the ServiceNow website, putting in his logon, his credentials, getting in, doing all of that, but he also has the option just to do it from Teams where he already is. He can even check on the status of that ticket, and we see it's still pending review. Now, if we scroll down to the Viva feed, it'll have that same content we saw with Brandy, but targeted specifically to Elton based on his activity, whether it's a community or a SharePoint site that he's part of. Now, speaking of communities in Viva Engage, let's say it's now 11 or 12, and Elton, like Brandy, likes to spend a little bit of time in Viva Engage to see what's happening. He clicks into it and is taken to his home feed, which is pulling in posts from the different communities that he's a part of, as well as the different posts that individuals are putting on their storylines. He scrolls down and he actually sees Brandy's post from earlier today. That's because he's part of the Mobile Connect community. As a product manager, he really likes to see how products are being displayed, getting that 360 view on the work they're doing. He's really impressed with what Brandy put together here, so he likes the post and then asks whether or not Brandy thinks that this can be generalized to more of their displays in more stores. We'll wait for and pay attention to Viva Engage to see when she responds. But now we see that Viva Engage is not only a great tool for staying connected with different communities, finding your perfect cat community and following all those pictures, but also sharing different work ideas and accelerating innovation in your workplace. Now, we're going to hop into Viva Learning for a moment while I talk about a meeting that Elton has tomorrow with one of his direct reports. So tomorrow he has a one-on-one with Isaiah, who we actually saw Bill set up a meeting with earlier in the Converge app. And recently, Isaiah's been really interested in professional development and taking on more responsibility at work. Part of that is learning how to be a leader and to manage other employees. Now, while Elton was browsing Viva Learning the other day, he saw a course that he thought Isaiah would be really interested in. And he bookmarked it, so it would show up in his Mind Learning tab, making it easy to access. And it's this one around inclusive leadership. Now, Elton wants to share that with Isaiah, so Isaiah has a chance to review that before their one-on-one tomorrow, though. To do that, he hops into he hops into Teams chat, and then he can actually send the module directly in chat. To do that, he goes down to the Viva Learning icon at the bottom of the screen. He searches for that module. And he's able to add it into the chat and leave a message for Isaiah to read when he gets to it. Now, when he sends the chat, or when Isaiah receives the chat, Isaiah will just be able to click the chat message and he'll be taken to Viva Learning to look at that course. Now, it's been a long and productive, and as we said, busy day. But let's say it's now 4 or 5 p.m. Elton is getting ready to sign off. To do that, he's going to use a virtual commute by Viva Insights. So every day at 5 p.m., Elton gets a notification from Viva Insights, which we can see, that asks him if he's ready to wrap up his day and take him on the virtual commute. This lets him finish or take stock of any remaining tasks, and then also takes him through a mindfulness exercise to help create that distance. So let's take a look at what that looks like. He begins the commute. He's able to see upcoming meetings for tomorrow. Any outstanding tasks that happen today, he can even add a new one. And then we're taken to that wind down where he can select from a series of different mindfulness exercises to help him create that distance.